Hey everybody! I have two wonderful and special guests here on Katie's couch / really, really cool set. I have Mariel and Barbara from Rooster Teeth. And we did a podcast called Always Open, and you'll have to check that out. It'll actually be out tomorrow, but if you subscribe to their channel, it'll be out right now when you're watching this. Whole plug.
Oh my God.
Links in the description. So you can check out all the wonderful things they do. But today, as always, on Katie's couch, we start off with talking about when did you first hear about mental health? When was that a thing? Even if you didn't know it was called mental health.
For me, it was actually very recently. It was probably within the last 4 or 5 years. And the reason I heard about it is because we obviously work for a company called Rooster Teeth, and we have a lot of fans around the world who feel comfortable with us, and they open up a lot about their experiences and the struggles that they're going through and how Rooster Teeth has helped them or helped them cope through difficult times. And I remember when I first started working here as the community manager, people would write me all the time of just hey, watching this show has really helped me through this issue I've been having.
That's so cool.
And it's an honor to be able to actually experience that and to help anybody with that in any sort of way. But I never really understood it before that. And hearing people's stories and what they go through and how this helps them or how that helps them, it's it makes me understand it a little more.
Do you think you understand yourself more?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Because hearing their stories of oh, I struggled with depression or anxiety or whatever, and I'm you know what, I feel like I've had that issue before and I haven't really been able to identify it. But I relate to what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, how about you?
For me, it was probably in college. It was definitely later in life, and realizing the resources that we had at UT and the mental health resources and everything, and actually realizing that this was a thing. Then it wasn't just oh, this is how I'm feeling. This is I feel sad. I feel whatever, and realizing that there's actually a real mental health is real, and it's not just something, because I grew up in a small conservative town and a Mexican family that you don't talk about your problems, you don't talk about anything you're feeling. So it wasn't more recently when I realized that I have family that has gone through this, and they I have family that's on medication, I have family that goes to therapy, and just kind of it's okay for me to feel this way too, because other people in my family are feeling like that too.
Yeah.
It's not just myself.
Yeah, and it's interesting how we internalize things as kids and when we're growing up thinking, oh, this is just me, something's wrong with me, especially because, we're changing and we're growing and we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you could just think it's oh, it's puberty.
Yeah, exactly. It's just my hormones.
Yeah.
I'm a teenager, this is what happens.
I'm moody.
Exactly.
Which was true.
Yeah, same.
Still moody.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Still moody. So have either of you, so moody. So have either of you been to therapy or?
I've never been to therapy, and it's something that I've never considered, and I think talking about it more and more, it's just maybe it could just be a nice little addition to my life and help me if I ever have future problems, kind of as a preventative method.
Yeah.
But no, I've never been, and I've never considered it up until probably today, honestly.
This moment right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that the misconception and the stigma is that you have to be crazy or have issues.
Or be suicidal.
To see someone. And you really don't. You can just be because for me, for instance, I'm tearful. That's how I know I need to be back in therapy, is I'll cry randomly.
Oh my gosh.
I'll be driving and I'm and I'm really, Katie, just get your shit together. Stuff must be bad and you're just not recognizing it. You're just pushing through. And so I'll be oh, I should probably get back in,
Yeah.
And I think that people assume you have to be maxed out, but you really just have to feel maybe you just like to talk to somebody that's not family or friend or loved one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've never been to therapy, but definitely have, especially probably in the last 2 years, definitely considered it. And I always hit that point where I'm it kind of fluctuates, right? So I'll be feeling great and I'm you know what, I don't need this. I'm good. I'm fine. And then I get to a really low point and I'm feeling super anxious or however I'm feeling. And then I'm all right, today I'm going to Google some therapists. Tomorrow I'm going to call them. And then tomorrow I feel good again, so I don't do it. So I always hit that point where I'm I'm about to do it, and then I don't. So I need to definitely get past that barrier, because I should probably.
I feel it also, I don't know if it's true or not, but I feel it could also take a lot of relief off the rest of your life. Of just I know I have this person I could talk to once a week or once every 2 weeks or whatever it is. And it's you know what, I'm struggling with this emotion. It's all right, I'm seeing them on Wednesday. I'll be cool. You
Yeah,
know?
I'll talk to them then.
Yeah.
No, totally. And you can go like once a week. Some people go twice a week at the beginning. It just kind of depends on what you need. Because as weird as it sounds, some people feel like so much has happened in a week. Like I don't even know how to catch you up because you're feeling so intense and feeling so shitty maybe.
Yeah.
Has anybody in your, like, I know you said your family, but any relationships you've been in, has anybody had mental illness or been to therapy maybe?
I've definitely, I think I've been in, they haven't outright told me, but I'm pretty sure I've been in relationships with people who have had social anxiety, panic attacks, depression, who weren't as open with it because I think a lot of relationships I've been in were when I was a lot younger.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where maybe they couldn't even identify it, but I could recognize like, oh, they never wanted to go out or they weren't motivated or didn't want to do that. And it's like probably looking back on that, they probably had some type of mental illness.
Yeah,
of some sort.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, both, I think my girlfriend and I both suffer from anxiety disorders of some sort, and we kind of go back and forth with each other, where she used to be on medication and now she's not, and so sometimes we're like, oh, like you should just get a therapist. Well, like you should probably get back on medication. So like we're like we communicate well enough that like we can like get past those things, but there's definitely at times where we're like, all right, like you should seek help, I should seek help, but like things are still good.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's just having the conversation and being open to it. And as we get older, I don't know why that is, but I think it's just like maturity as a whole. It's like we're able to recognize like, oh, I'm acting this way, but I don't have to like lash out because of this. I can be like, okay, I'm just having a hard time, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like that's something even as a 33-year-old, I'm like getting better at, and I hope my husband feels the same. But like, Sean?
Well, let's ask
Where's he at?
I know, right? But I used to be like really like fly off the handle quickly. I had like a short tempered, very much like my dad. And so as I got older, I was like, I don't like that about myself.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but I'm like, I don't like that part of me.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, no, 100%.
Ooh.
There are things that I've become a very paranoid and sometimes jealous person, and I never used to be that way. And I think there were like certain moments in my life where like that I've become like more insecure about certain aspects of my relationship or my life or who I am as a person, where I've like projected that onto relationships and have become that person. And it's like, that's not me.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? Why am I paranoid or why am I worried all the time? And
Yeah.
I just need to like shake it.
Yeah, but it's like, it's a whole package, right? It's like
Yeah.
undoing it. Because like jealousy too, like it can eat us up and we don't realize, we don't like think it's that. We're just like, oh, that person, like I want their life, son of a bitch, especially with Instagram.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, how are you on vacation
Yeah.
again?
Or why do you look so good?
I know.
They probably went through like 14 different photo apps to like.
Yeah, 12 filters and 5 other things, and they don't own any of that.
yeah.
It's just they have to send it back after
Yeah.
the photo. Yeah. But my favorite question, and what I want to talk about the most, is like advice that you would give to a younger you. Because I always think this is fun.
Little Barbara.
Little
Babs.
and little Mariel,
With
what
her
would you tell
braces
them?
and acne.
I know, right?
Too tall for own skin.
Too tall, no.
I actually felt like I was a pretty like easygoing kid. But later in life, and I wish I had learned this earlier in life, is to not let the little things bother me as much. Because in the grand scheme of things, it's such a small thing. Like you spill coffee on your shirt, and for some people that could ruin their day.
Totally.
And it's like, you could go about this 2 ways. You could either be like, oh well, or like, I'll just change or something, or oh, this is just on my shirt for today, whatever.
Yeah.
Or you could like get frustrated and get angry at people and like storm out and like be like in a bad mood all day. And it's like, maybe that will affect someone else in a negative way. And it has this like trickling effect that just like, rippling effect, I guess, is the more
Trickling. It could
rippling.
trickle down or it could ripple out.
Yeah, one of the two. I'm great with my analogies. That's what I would tell myself, is to learn analogies better. And to drink less. So I think just like telling myself from an earlier age just to like focus on being positive and focus on what really matters in life and just like go forward from that. Because I think I used to focus on a lot of negativity when I was younger.
Yeah, and isn't that the truth? Like, it's funny, as a kid, you think everything's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Right? And like as a teenager especially, like, thank you hormones, I guess, question
like,
mark, I'm not sure.
Middle school and high school is like, oh my God, I'm not popular, life's gonna suck for me.
Yeah, or like, I didn't go to this one sleepover, it's over, my life is over.
Yep.
And then later as an adult, you're like, that meant nothing.
Literally nothing.
I give no fucks about that.
Yeah, for me, I mean, that was kind of the age that I kind of started realizing that I was pretty different from a lot of people, especially growing up I grew up in a small conservative town in Texas. So I think I worried a lot about what my life would be like in the future, and like, you know, like, okay, like as an adult, like what am I going to be like who am I going to be as a gay woman in conservative Texas? So I think I'd just be like, you know what, chill out, like it's going to be fine. You're going to be 24, you're going to have a great job, you're going to be sitting on a couch talking to some lovely ladies.
Isn't that crazy that one of my favorite quotes for this year is "Life's got my back." I was talking with my therapist like months ago, and she was like, you worry about, because I still do that, like what's happening, I don't know. And where am I going? And if you told me 10 years ago I'd be where I am now, I'd be like, what? No.
Yeah.
You know? What is YouTube?
Right.
You know? Well, I guess 10 years ago it would have been around, but like, you know, you get my point.
Yeah.
And so part of something I keep telling myself is I'm like, life's got my back, like relax. And I put up a Post-it, like, so my desk faces a wall at the house, and I'm like, life, remember that.
Yeah.
And then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, what?
I need a Post-it like that. Mine just says sit up, so I try to remember about fixing my posture.
Yeah.
Hey, that's good too. That's
Yeah, I wish I
also
could have
good
told
advice.
that 12-year-old me and start standing up straight.
Put your shoulders
There you
back.
go, shoulders back.
Just being a tall kid, I was very insecure about that, so I would hunch a lot.
I had one taller friend at the time. Now I mean, it's like all relative, right? We all, like some of us get taller as we get older and everything, and she did that. And as we got older into like adulthood, like 20, she's like, I hate that I do that, but it's like, you know, out of habit.
So used to it, because you just want to like fit in, so you're just like, what's up, guys?
Yep.
Yeah. You're like, I don't like this, it's so uncomfortable.
Or like you take a picture with everyone and you like do like the little
little.
hunch and like the leg twist, so you like get down lower. Yeah, I have a lot of really awkward photos.
Clearly, with the hands. Like a praying mantis.
My raptor hands. Or T-Rex.
Well, thank you for sharing your stories, and thanks for, you know.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us on the couch.
So how can they find you if they wanted to like watch more, learn from you,
Well,
hear about you?
We're both on Rooster Teeth, the website, and youtube.com/roosterteeth. For me, my Twitter handle, Snapchat, etc., Instagram, all that stuff is at @Dunkelman.
Okay, perfect.
And mine's at Mariel Salcedo, which is my first and last name.
Perfect. Well, their names will be below with all of the, you know, links, and all links in the description. And like I said, we did a podcast together, and you really want to check it out. We talk about more questions from their audience and more mental health stuff. So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Bye.